San Jose Sharks prospect Luca Cagnoni joins the show today, where we talk about his draft process. We talk about his draft day, kind of waiting for it, and then just how quickly it goes after that. We talk about Quinn Hughes and why he's such a big kind of role model for Luca, and then we talk about some of the upcoming WHL season, gets to know Luca off the ice. So all that and more on today's episode of Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, contributor at San Jose Hockey Now and Inside the Rink. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly a part of the Locked On Network, where we cover your team every day, or at least 3 days a week right now in the off season. And Luca Cagnoni joins, where we discuss, kind of his draft process and, kind of get to know Luca a little bit more. And yes, it's Cagnoni. That's the first question I asked him, is how to pronounce his last name. So kind of a Y instead of a G. So Cagnoni. So we're going to work on that. But before we get into it with Luca, I do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you guys by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. And now we have Sharks prospect picked in the fourth round, pick 123, nice and easy to remember, Luca Cagnoni. Luca, how's it going, buddy?
Yeah, really good. Thanks for having me on here.
First thing I have to ask, this has been a bit of a debate between Sharks fans, the pronunciation of your last name. I've heard Cagnoni, I've heard Cagnoni. Like, how do you is the emphasis on the N there?
Oh yeah, it's kind of like a Y after the first N. It's like Cagnoni. It's a little weird one, yeah.
Okay, so I was way off there. So Cagnoni. So it's not as hard G, it's more of a Y instead of a G, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'll bet. The G's kind of silent, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, you're going to be in the Sharks system for a while. We're hoping a nice long career. We might as well get it situated right now. So, but I mean, let's start way back. When did you realize that being an NHL draft pick could be an actual thing for you? Like, when did you realize that this hockey might be a career?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a dream kind of growing up and stuff like that. But, I was playing like soccer and hockey till I was about like 13. And, I kind of had to make that decision if I was going to stick with soccer or hockey. And then, luckily I stuck with hockey, and I played like my times throughout the academy and stuff, which was really good at BWC. And then, you get called up to Portland, I wasn't drafted. I got listed there, and then, COVID hit, and I got to go to Portland when I was pretty young, and that's kind of when it clicked in that, like I had a chance and I could kind of get it done.
You mentioned, Portland, and of course, you weren't drafted in the WHL, and I think I read you had multiple tryouts for different teams before Portland finally signed you. What was it like? I mean, being, like you said, 13, 14, 15-year-old kid and kind of fighting for your hockey career at such an early age.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I was as a kid, a little bit undersized and stuff like that. And, teams don't really like to take a shot sometimes. So, a lot of dedication, kind of had to go through a lot of adversity when I was about like 13 there, which is pretty young, but, everything kind of worked out. So pretty glad that happened.
Of course, Sharks, defenseman Nick Cicek was part of the Portland Winterhawks. And I think, he was there when you got there, and is now kind of the same thing, was then drafted in the at least in the NHL, and, earned his NHL. How does that relationship between you and Cicek?
Yeah, I know, like he kind of made it for me to get in the league a little bit easier in the dub here, because having him as a mentor was really good for me. He's really positive, especially to the young guys, who kind of made us feel like we belong there and stuff. So when I saw him like in the arena that day when we were doing I think we were doing fitness testing. It was really good to see him, catch up and some things. So, makes life a little bit easier having someone there.
All right. Before the draft, how many teams did you end up talking to pre-draft process?
I think I got close to every team except for like Buffalo. I think like throughout like the whole season was pretty crowded.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to combine, and that's another kind of hectic situation. So I think I talked to almost every team. So yeah.
Combine, is it weird to kind of be like poked and prodded and stuff all day, or is you just kind of go with the flow with it?
Yeah, they do it pretty good there. They give you a schedule and stuff, which makes your life a lot easier. So you're not just like kind of waiting around.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty good, but it is a little nerve wracking because you actually have to meet them like face to face in a big group of people. So yeah.
Did you have any inclination the Sharks might be interested, or was it kind of when you finally had your name called, were you kind of just surprised, or do you have a feeling about the Sharks?
We did at the beginning of the year. That was kind of like a place that I actually wanted to go to. But throughout the year, I only talked to them once face to face, and then they kind of reached out to some other people around me to get some more knowledge. But actually in in the third round, or it was coming up to the third or fourth round, I saw their table because it was right in front of me, and I thought they were looking at me like pretty like funny and stuff. So that was kind of like I looked to my dad and I was like, "Did you see that?" And he saw it too. So I don't know. I just kind of just kept my eyes open there and just hoped.
So I mean, you kind of bring up the draft day, right? And a lot of people had you kind of pegged as a potential second round pick, and you kind of slid back to the fourth round. What is that kind of day like? Does it feel like it's taking forever, just going through the names, waiting for your name to be called?
Yeah, I mean the second day was a pretty long one for me. Definitely, a little longer than I did expect it, but
Mm-hmm.
that's all right. I mean, at the end of it, I thought it was like 10 o'clock at night. That's how long it felt when you're actually in there. I got out there and it was still sunny and I was like, what the heck's going on? But it's everything happens for a reason. So that's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the underground. I was there at the draft in like the underground, and it was very much kind of like crazy bunker, and you have no idea what time it actually is. It's almost like in Vegas when you go to a casino and there's just no lights, there's nothing. You're just like in this, just got the TVs on and all, just hearing stuff going on. But and then you get drafted, right? And it kind of shifts gears of like you're just playing this waiting game to like being rushed around, right? To like you got to do the photos, you got to do your availability. I know we accidentally pulled you back for a second availability. Kind of what's that process like after you actually get drafted? That
Yeah, I mean, probably the best media in the world, to be honest. Like you kind of get to enjoy the moment, soak it all in, take a couple pictures. Really
Mhm.
get the feel of what it's like to be at the draft and get drafted. So it's a real cool feeling. Some people might think it's kind of hard on us, but no one's really complaining about it because you just got drafted, right? So yeah.
I know you were there with your family. I ran into you guys as the kind of everyone was leaving. You guys were walking the concourse and stuff. Was it kind of just soaking in the moment of realization of like all the hard work as you guys are just kind of walking around?
Yeah, I mean, definitely that. And you kind of go try to find some of your buddies and stuff like that to go see. And,
Mhm.
we did just try to really soak in the moment of what it's like. Big accomplishment for my family too, because they were with me throughout the whole way. So yeah, just really trying to soak that in.
After, I'm assuming you guys had a nice dinner.
Yeah, a good lunch and dinner. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, before we continue with Luca and we discuss the upcoming WHL season and get to know him a little bit more on and off the ice, do need to take a quick break, talk to you guys about our good friends over at FanDuel. And if you want to take your first swing at betting MLB, FanDuel has got you covered because right now you get 10 times your first bet amount on bonus bets up to $200. That's right. Just bet $20 and you land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. This 200 you can spend on everything from betting the money line to over under. Who you think's going to hit the first home run? Again, just keep betting Otani to hit home runs, and you're probably going to have a good time. So you can do this all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet on MLB than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So sign up today. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. once you get to, you get through the draft, and then you're getting, calls like, okay, development camp for the Sharks is literally like the next week. What was that like, kind of that process of like trying to let things soak in? The next thing you know, you're like in an NHL, or at least with the Barracuda, you're like in the Barracuda arena, you're trying on the teal, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a quick turnaround for sure. I mean, I flew home back to Vancouver the next day on Friday, and then had less than 24 hours really. And then I was back on another plane to San Jose. But, like in the moment, you don't really think about it because all you're really focused on is just showing like what you can really do on the ice to the people that just drafted you, right? So you got to keep on working and just kind of have your head down and just kind of get through the week. But they make it really good on us because, they make it a fun week for us. You get to try on some new gear and stuff. So it was a great time.
And at least the trip from Vancouver to San Jose isn't too bad. Not like Musty or, some of the other guys, or
Yeah,
some of the guys who got come from like Russia, or come from, Halton, who's got come from Finland. Like that's a huge turnaround for those
yeah,
guys. So
absolutely.
who'd you room with at development camp?
I room with a pole camp, so another
Okay.
defenseman drafted. Yeah.
Yeah, I know he had a pretty nice day. We're recording this on Monday. Had a nice day at the World Juniors today. I think he had a goal at the showcase. But what, so like with the development camp, I mean, is it just kind of, there's a mix, right? There's all the young guys, and there's the guys who've been there before. You have like I know Eklund didn't participate, but you have your like Bordelos and your Eklunds and some of those guys who've been around. Was it kind of nice to maybe pick up a little bit from some of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just see how they act, and we try to catch a little glimpse of their practice and stuff. But yeah, like they're professionals, right? You try to take as much as you can from them.
And then, I've you worked with a bunch of the coaches and stuff, and Patrick Marleau making his kind of coaching debut for the Sharks. I don't know if you know too much about Patrick Marleau, but he's a little famous in San Jose. Was it kind of neat meeting him, and kind of, I don't know if you followed his career much at all? I know you're a little bit
Yeah, I
younger,
mean,
but
yeah, he's a legend, right? Having the most games played and stuff. So it's obviously really cool. You kind of don't believe it when you're on the ice with someone like that. But, the whole coaching staff was great. And, they make you really enjoy the moment there.
gotcha. What was your biggest takeaway from development camp?
Yeah, just like how, like the kind of that quick turnaround of what it's like to be a pro, right? Like, kind of, you're at the draft and you think it's just like all good times, but then you go to camp and it's like, you got to work hard, right? Like, you're trying to prove people, and there's people there trying to make the team and stuff like that. So you're really competitive and trying to get a spot.
You played really well in the, in the development, or the prospect scrimmage game. I think you were definitely one of the players who flashed. Was it nice to kind of have a nice game like that, especially with a bunch of guys who you literally just met that week, and kind of trying to build some chemistry?
Yeah, that game was really fun, but it is a little tough because you don't really know anyone like too well there. You know how they play, but you just you kind of just have to have fun and just enjoy the moment, right? So
Yeah, you were with, was it Furlong or Havlet? I can't remember who you were partnered with.
I was with pole camp again. I was
Pole
on.
camp. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Furlong and Havlet were together in the end. Yeah, you and Pole
yeah,
camp were. So, but yeah, I mean, I remember you had a nice little spinorama. You tried to kind of ski,
yeah,
there. Taking a page out of the William Eklund playbook there at the spinorama. So you already
exactly.
picked that up from him. So,
Yeah.
um, so you're going back to Portland this year. What's your expectations for this Portland team, which has been a really good team for the past couple seasons?
Yeah, I mean, pretty high expectations this year, right? Because I think we have a good team, like one of the top teams in the whole
Mhm.
league. So I'm got some pretty high expectations for myself and the team to kind of go further in the second round this year. I think we kind of have to break that little curse that to get past the second round this year, and I think after that, it's we'll kind of be a little smoother after that.
I mean, and the big thing right now is your division, right? We were kind of talking about this beforehand with the US division, right? You have the Seattle Thunderbirds, who are an absolute monster, and I know big rivals for you guys, but they have, they loaded up their team last year, and I know they're gonna have a bunch of guys coming back. You have the Winnipeg Ice, who is the best team in the WHL, now moving to Wenatchee, I don't know, someplace in
Wenatchee,
Washington. There you go,
yeah.
Wenatchee. Thank you. How insane is this US division gonna be this year?
Oh yeah, I mean, you got two of the teams that went to the finals together, so that's kind of gonna add on some some more competitiveness. But yeah, it's a pretty stacked division. You're fighting for points. That's about it. Like every game's going to be a close one, and you might lose like first place, second place by 1 point, or even like the teams at the bottom. Like
Mhm.
might be out, like seventh or eighth seed might be out because of 1 point. I think that's how close it's going to be this year.
Yeah, but I mean that's good, right? The better the competition, that's going to make you a better player, hopefully in the
Yeah,
long run, right? Of having to play the
exactly.
best of the best every night. Um,
Exactly.
and then you have, I know Sharks goalie prospect Mason Bopet is with Winnipeg. Did you kind of know him a little bit, or have you guys chatted at all before?
Yeah, I mean, we played each other quite a bit when he was on Spokane there, so we definitely knew each other. We were chatting up quite a bit, but that's about it. It's two dub guys.
Yeah. Well, now you'll get to see him a little bit more this year. So,
Yeah.
all right. So the Portland Winterhawks, they rebranded a couple of seasons ago. Very nice look. If you haven't seen it, you can kind of see it on your jersey, on your shirt right now. Which is your favorite jersey of theirs?
Uh, I really like the white jerseys. I know we get a lot of hate that it's looks like the Kraken ones, but personally, I like him with like our white helmets and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of my favorite. And we had red ones this year that we wore a couple times too. I think those look pretty clean.
I do like the red ones too. Yeah, those are my favorites so far. So, yeah, I like the red ones. All right, guys, before we continue with Luca, we talk about Quinn Hughes and why guys like him are, role models for Luca Cagnoni. And we get to know him on and off the ice a little bit. Do want to thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Again, proudly a part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everyday, all you got to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube. This week we'll be kicking off our kind of tour around the Pacific Division, get to know the enemy, get to know the rivals, and we start out with the Flames. So Jess from Locked On Flames is going to be coming on. We're going to discuss what's going on in Calgary and kind of get to know what's going on. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. When I talked to you at the draft, you said you modeled your game after Quinn Hughes, who, like you, maybe not the tallest guy on the blue line, right? And you're seeing guys like Quinn Hughes and a guy like Cale Makar, who's also, not the tall guy, but both considered some of the best defensemen in the world. How important is it for a defenseman like yourself and a lot of other shorter defensemen, sorry, who kind of seeing these guys as who can be the best player, some of the best players in the world, even though they're not, they're both under 6 foot.
Yeah, they're role models, right? They kind of give you some hope that you can do it too, and they're kind of transferring the game from just having like some big defensemen that just don't move too well or kind of just stay at home, and
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of having another fourth forward out there, which is a big advantage, right? And you kind of I at least get to show that throughout my season, and kind of use my offensive abilities to try to make my team better and just kind of like show what I can do.
I have a very famous motto: "Defense is for nerds. Go score points." The
Yeah,
best way to play defense is to not have to play defense, right? Just keep it in your own
exactly.
zone. You don't have to play defense that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know. So sorry, Nick Cicek. I know Nick Cicek. He's a very good defenseman.
Yeah.
But a lot of the younger generation, I'm kind of showing my age here, but a lot of you guys are kind of you kind of go to Quinn Hughes as kind of like the guy that you try to model your game after. What is it about Quinn Hughes' game that's like? I mean, yes, he's absolutely amazing, but what about Quinn Hughes do you kind of like about his game so much?
Yeah, like for me, I think like he's one of the smartest guys in the league just because, I think he doesn't join the rush every play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of lets him be so offensive and why he gets the big contracts now because he's smart enough to know when to jump up.
Yeah.
And I think that's like something like me too. Like I'm not going to jump up every play, but like I know when I need to and I know when the opportunity's there. So that's kind of what I see like the resemblance and just like the way that he passes the puck and he tries to make those complicated plays that turn into the best plays of the game and stuff like that, right? So stuff like that makes him so good.
Who's gonna be better, Quinn or Luke?
Right now I'm gonna go with Quinn.
That's fair. I mean, he's been doing it for a little while. Yeah, that Hughes family is they're very talented. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Devils, yeah, gonna have two of them here for a while. So um let's get to some of your kind of off ice stuff. Are you kind of pregame superstitions? Are you a superstitious guy, a somewhat stitious guy, or a let it flow type of guy?
I'm like a somewhat stitious, like when it comes to gear,
Mhm.
I'm very superstitious where it's like I put it
Okay.
on the same way. Same, like has to go like my left side first and then like my right and stuff like that. But
You're not like Connor
no,
McDavid with the like pair of socks that he's worn since
no,
like
I get new socks. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But tape my stick the same way. But like usually in like warm-ups and stuff, like I don't really do the same stuff.
Mhm.
I like to just have fun out there, like you're right before a game, like you gotta have a little bit of fun, right? So
Yep.
I like to mix it up.
Are you I assume you're a big nap guy too before games?
This coming up like last year, I started it, but the
Mhm.
year before that, like I didn't take naps because it made me a little too tired. But then I started really needing them.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I would love to take a nap every day, but
Yeah.
um, coffee. Are you a coffee guy?
No.
No, not yet. So that'll
No.
come. When you get a little
Yeah.
bit older, that'll come too. Because you got to wake up from the nap. So,
Yeah.
um, socks and skates. You're not some monster who you kind of mentioned already, but you're not some monster who doesn't wear socks with their skates, right?
No, I actually like new gear, which is pretty surprising for a hockey player. Like
Mm.
I think I went through about like 4 pairs of skates last year. So
Mm.
3, 4, yeah. So I like my new stuff. I like it pretty clean.
Fair, fair. And then kind of off the ice here. So what's your favorite when you're not playing, what's your favorite kind of thing to do to unwind?
Yeah, like I kind of like the golf. We try to go on the courses when it's not raining in Portland, but that's only for about a month that I'm actually here for.
Yeah.
And like I'm a big puzzler too, so I do that
Mm.
with my billets. Yeah, we get a puzzle. We kind of go at that until it's done, but I don't play video games,
Mm.
none of that. So yeah, it's a little weird, but
It's okay. I mean, everybody, everyone's got their thing. That's a puzzler though. What's the biggest puzzle you've done?
uh 2,000 pieces. I think we
Oof.
tried doing a 3,000 last year, but we didn't finish it. So
I know there's like you like get to a point where you're just like, I'm done with this. I'm tired of looking at it. You gotta
yeah.
start a new one. So
Gotta do playoffs, I don't know what's more important, but
yeah. Guys, I gotta finish this puzzle tonight. Sorry.
yeah.
All right. And then what was the last show you binged?
I watched Quarterback on Netflix. I
Okay.
really enjoyed that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I know I've not watched that yet. I've been catching up on Star Wars stuff for Ahsoka. So that's
Okay.
that's what I've been doing. But it's on the to list here. Um, but and then last book you read? Big reader or no? No.
Not really. I mean, I've read like the Bobby Orr book
Okay.
because
I
like I'm
know.
I'm in like their agency, right? So like they sent me a book, and I thought it'd be nice to read it. It's a very good book, but
Yeah.
I'm not like the biggest reader, I would say.
That's right. Last movie you went and saw.
Oh, is actually last year in like the theaters. It was with our team. I think we watched like the Cocaine Bear or whatever when that came out. We all thought
That's
it
a
was gonna be really good, but it was all right. It was interesting.
that's definitely it's gonna be a bad movie, but you're gonna like have fun with your buddies watching that movie, right?
Yeah.
All right. Luca, thank you so much for your time. I know it's well, it's middle of the off season right now, and you're gonna start getting ready for getting ready for WHL season here. But thank you so much for coming on. Again, I think every Sharks fan is super excited to see what you're gonna be able to do, and gonna have fun in this WHL season here. I have a feeling it's gonna be a fun season for you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, appreciate it, buddy.
See ya.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed my conversation with Luca Cagnoni. He seems like a great dude. And I think, again, I just have a gut feeling with him where we're going to be looking back in 5 years going, how did he make it to round 4 for the Sharks? Just he seems like he's got that kind of work ethic and drive to just be good and be awesome at what he does. And I think he's such a smart player. And he talked about Quinn Hughes and, how being the smartest guy out there and knowing when to kind of pinch and when to kind of, to hang back and when kind of reading those plays. If you go way, way back to my draft profile I did on him with Daniel G, that was what he talked about, was his ability to kind of, be the smartest guy out there, and his skating will make up for his size. And I think I have a feeling about him where we're going to be looking back and being like, wow, what a steal. So again, thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly a part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. If you guys want to follow the show, you follow the show wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well, or do both. So you can also follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Locked On Sharks. You can follow me on Twitter and Threads at My Fry Hole. And until Thursday, so again, we're going to be doing Monday, Wednesday, Thursday releases, I think, while we're at 3 days a week. That way you guys have something for Thursday, Friday, or, I just Monday, Wednesday, Thursday feels good. Yeah. So until next episode, bye, friends.